Welcome, Jay. So good to see you again.
Thank you for having me again. Thanks a lot.
I was wondering if you could tell me about what you're working on at present.
Yeah, so I'm working on a company called Tassen. We're creating a non-custodial cryptocurrency exchange. So when you go to a centralized exchange, you have to deposit your funds and you have to register and give up all your private info. So we're trying to change the equation. So we're trying to make a exchange where traders have control of their own funds and they don't have to worry about their funds being stolen by hackers and so on and so forth.
And particularly what happened with that Canadian exchange beginning
boy.
of this year. That was terrifying, wasn't it?
is, yeah.
All those people lost all that money.
Yeah, I mean, the jury is still out there. We have no idea what happened. All right, so it's possible that it's actually inaccessible, but you should never be subject to that kind of scenario,
Yes, yeah.
right? And I mean, if you're just trading your own money, I mean, that's a disaster.
Yes.
So yeah. So
Yeah.
I think that's just a very bad management on their end.
Yes, definitely.
Yeah. So at the very least, they should have had some other way to recover the funds.
Yes.
Yeah.
And so thank you again for offering to do this presentation
Absolutely.
for Code the Blockchain.
Yeah.
Could you talk a little bit about that?
Yeah, sure. So my title of the talk is going to be called "Bridging the Chains,"
Okay.
and so what's interesting is that you have all these blockchains that are projects that are coming up, and they have
Yes.
their own networks. But problem is they all have different functionalities and protocols, and you have no idea. I have no idea
Yeah.
how all of them will fit together, and they
Yeah.
might never fit together. So
Yeah.
the subject of the talk is about different projects that are emerging that is trying to bridge that gap. So like different cryptocurrencies or different blockchain networks and how they're going to interact with one another. How does events coming out in from one can affect the other? How do you clear funds? How do you do swaps? And more importantly, like if you break it down to bare minimum, what are the building blocks that make these interoperation possible? So I'll be talking about those.
And that's great because really there does need to be a more holistic
Yes.
view of it all, and everyone's obviously, because it's such early days, everyone's working on their own projects, and that's great for innovation, but in the end it all has to come together so that we can actually
Yeah,
use everything.
That's right. Yeah. So I mean, there are some interesting projects that are coming up.
Yeah.
And I don't own any of the the tokens,
Yeah.
fortunately.
Yeah.
So I can talk with very unbiased
Objective,
perspective, right?
yeah.
And more importantly, what I want to do is break it down to why did these projects decide to go the way that they have? Like, what is the reason why they did it that way? So I'll be talking about those more precisely. Like for an example, there's a concept called Oracle where blockchains need to get information from outside of its own ecosystem, but how do you know just hitting a website from outside the ecosystem is correct? So
Yes.
there is a solution to that as well. So that's just one example of operation between blockchain, outside world, and between blockchains.
Fantastic. Well, I for one am looking forward to that, and we'll definitely set a date in Menlo Park for you to do that.
Yeah, I'm happy to do this anytime, and hopefully it'll just make a lot of people a lot more comfortable engaging with different blockchain technology.
A lot more clarity, I would say, and that holistic view I think is really needed. Thank you again, Jay.
No, thanks for having me.
Okay.